That I believe it did it. It has been a while. It has been a while, family. We have been trying. I've been trying to connect um, Facebook with my Zoom, and I think, praise God, is actually working. We are live on Facebook. Haven't been in a while, not from Zoom anyway. So, man, it's great to see you guys. Great to see you, Ms. Ed. How you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Can't be better.
That's what I'm talking about. It's always wonderful to see your beautiful face on this platform. I thank you so much again for joining me always and putting us in a mindset of living an educated living way. So I love you for it, and I
My
thank you.
joy. My
Amen.
joy. Thank
Amen.
you for having me.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Well, family, look, man, it's gonna be a great show, guys. I love it. I haven't seen you guys. Well, I seen you Saturday, man. We had such a huge event Saturday, and this show is catered to that. I think we'll do the next all the way up to an election. We'll be talking about voting and you know why you need to vote and why you should vote, and then any other aspects of knowledge, education that we can bring to the table. I'm thinking I'm gonna try my best to have different people to come on to express what they're running for. Doesn't matter Republican or Democrat. I really don't. I don't have a preference of what they decide how they vote. I just need you to go vote. If they want to get on this platform, it's for them. It's for to build people up. So I'm not against anyone who wants to build things up in the best of their interests for the people. So I'm proud. I'm glad. Saturday. Let me tell you a little bit about that before we get into the show, man. Saturday was a beautiful. We had a Black Men of Unity. Had an awesome panel. Marlon Lee, the councilman down in Smithfield, Anton Whitby, the attorney down in Smithfield, my man Corey Scarborough, detective down in Smithfield, North Carolina, and my man Lehman Johnson, which is a athletic trainer, and my brother Von Zell Sawyer, which is a entrepreneur, very business minded, very business minded, and this and yours truly, your man Fred Foreman, One Blood, hosting it. So it was a blessing, and we called it Black Men of Unity, and we titled it "Why Black Men Need to Vote." And I tell you, it was impressive. It was a young man out there by the name of God, I forgot his name. He was a Kappa brother, but he was so wise and intelligent, young, yeah, very young and intelligent young man, and expressed a lot of education of what we need to know. And he ended up being in the forum. We actually put him on the panel as well. So he was a good kid, man, and I love it. The crowd, I think we had roughly read it, ended up being 50, right around 52, I believe, that ended up coming out. So to me, that's a blessing. Just to, just to put it out there by word of mouth, we'd advertise what we could, and how we could. And I tell you, the information that was given from the brothers, we had a state trooper out there. Kudos to the police officer that was out there. What was his name? He was a Smithfield police officer. Whoever knows this name, Officer Wheeler. Officer Wheeler, man, big kudos. Officer Wheeler is a white cop who came out and did all the traffic, and I want to emphasize that he was a white cop because it was in a black neighborhood, and it was a black event. And what I loved about it is he knew the message was for blacks, black men, but he wanted to listen to the message that was going to a black man, so he would know. You know, it's educating him too on what we need to know and the things that black men actually go through and why we should vote, just in case he run across a brother that is not wanting to vote or having some second guessing issues, and he might have some knowledge and might have gained something to have a conversation with a brother. So, and then he did the parking lot for us, with with no remorse, man. No, I mean, just outstanding work that was done out there. Everybody that pitched in, the AKAs, everybody that did something. One Body, the founders of them, Tina O'Neill and Anita Johnson. These two women did the registration table. So big kudos to them too for One Body Movement. They are doing wonderful works in their ministry and what they're trying to do and trying to provide for the community. So I'm loving everyone that participated in it. Of course, my family, my wife, my sons, and Glassworks, my brother, everyone that did participate in cooking and setting everything up. Man, I tell you, it was just completely awesome. Completely awesome. Just a great educational show. I love it. It was a lot of energy. Had some young folks out there, and had good chicken, and good hot dogs. So it was just a blessing. I can't take that away. It was really just a blessing. Now, I'm prayerfully. I left a message with the mayor of Clayton, so we're trying to get in touch with him, and we're trying to pull it off in Clayton and State College campus. We're trying to pull a setting off there too. So we are moving. It's a slow process right now. I know we have to speed it up because we only have just a little less than 30 days to try to do the best we can do to get information out. But I just wanted to tell everybody from the bottom of my heart how much I appreciate you, and definitely, just thank you, sincerely thank you for everything that you are doing, everything that you plan on doing to educate and to build a community in the best interest of the community. So Miss Addie, that's how it was. It was lovely. It was lovely. It was lovely. It was lovely.
Well, your hard work
Mm.
was exemplified. And when people work hard and they're sincere, like yourself, with such an open heart, then people run to you so that they can be of assistance. So we thank you.
To God be the glory. We're leaving it in his hands. So family, look, welcome to the One Blood Movement Unity Eye Opener Tuesday show. It's going to be a beautiful one. Like I said, we're going to piggyback off of Saturday's Why Black Men Need to Vote. Before we come in, though, I want to make sure Miss Addie has an opportunity, as always, to express how and we can get in contact with you through your social media and get educated.
Thank you so much, because this month at No Black History Podcast at patreon.com, we're talking about elections. We're talking about and posting about early Black elected officials who, right after slavery, found their way into the House, into the Senate. Yes, Black men. We are going to introduce you to the presidents of the United States and their positions on race. See, we think that every president was an anti-Black man. You need to learn that a whole lot of them were anti-slavery, were abolitionists. Some were lawyers who represented Black people. You need to know so that you will have a love for the people like the police officer who came out and said, I want to be of service. It's a time to celebrate America's good side. But you have to know the history. Otherwise, you don't know why we celebrate. So look, I hope you join me on the podcast.
Amen. Amen. Please go, family. Please go. Go check it out, man. It's only $5 a month, but it's a lifetime of education. You can pass it down and pass it down and pass it down, and it will work for your good if you keep passing it on. So go check it out. It's worth your benefit. I love it. And I am learning from it as well. So, I stay focused on it. So it is truly a blessing. Eye Opener Tuesday show. Let me go over this for the new ones that are watching and have not seen it or have not had a chance to catch us on a Tuesday night. What we do is we talk about the elephant in the room, which is a tough conversation that I feel like parents or just people in general have in their homes, in their four walls. And I relate it to church because a lot of us go to church, a lot of us don't. But I relate it to church because a lot of us go to church, we get so emotional high, a spiritual emotional high, and as soon as we hit those four walls or get right outside those four walls, we lose it. Stony ground, we lose it. It's gone, and we go right back into our own, what we call our own world, when it's not our own world. It's all of our world. We're here together. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be here on earth. There's no other like it. So I like to say the same thing that we have inside those conversations in our home. We get outside that front door, outside our four walls, and we don't talk about it anymore. The same way you expressed it to your individuals that live in your home, or that conversation that you had in those four walls, it would be nice to find someone of the opposite race or someone who believes different. You express it the same way. Reason being because you're passionate about the way you feel inside those four walls. So therefore, you have an understanding of the way you feel. But when you get outside those other four walls, the other person does not have an understanding of how you feel about it, and they want understanding. So it would behoove you to go out, and when you get an opportunity to have that conversation, it's to bring understanding. That's all this is. It's to bring understanding. It's not to bring. Somebody said something that was so crazy. Thought I was going to build up a coalition, and we were going to march and tear up the daggum place and buildings and things. And I was like, you know, I've never been violent in that platform anyway. So it just kind of threw me off when that one hit me. I said that's different. That is different. I wasn't expecting that one, but uh that's the whole idea. That's the purpose, because if you don't understand the way I feel about something, you automatically think that I'm going to try my best to pay you back for 400 years of what you've done to me. No, that's not the lingo. That's not my aim. I do not intend to do that at all. None of my people, black people, do not intend to pay anyone back for 400 years. We are the most forgiving race that I have ever met. I mean, I love them, and we got some good and we got some bad, but I love my people, and I guarantee you, we are the most forgiving. Even sometime when I'm like, we should not forgive in this moment, but the God that we serve allows us to. So that's what this conversation is about. You got to gain some type of understanding when you are going out into this world. If not, you can be thinking that all the time, and that will have you a depressed life every time you look at the opposite race, because you'll always have that mindset of saying, you know what, it'll be a them and us type deal for the rest of your life, and we got to get away from that. And that's what the show is about. That's what it's for. That's the love of it. That's the beauty of it. That's the upbringing. This platform is not to tear anyone down. It's always to build someone up. Always to build someone. And if we hurt your feelings, we offend you, please contact me. My numbers all over social media. If you go to Google and type in One Blood MOU, you'll find everything about me with One Blood MOU. If you type it in Google, my Instagram, my Twitter, my YouTube, Facebook, all that pops up. And you are more than welcome. Contact me and let's have a conversation. I apologize in advance. But if you want to talk about it, I am more than willing to have a conversation with you. So with that being said, let's dive in, Miss Addie. Let's dive in. Like I say, Saturday we had a wonderful time, and we talked about the subject, why black men need to vote. This message is catered to the black men, but I do feel like all my families, all my white family, all my Latino family, all my whatever you ethnic is out there, you need to hear this. It's important to hear the message that goes out to black people, because even though we're one of the most forgiving races, um, a lot of us have gotten to the point to where we have seen so much damage, and we've our mind has locked in on the damage,
Mhm.
and we've forgotten where Miss Addie's coming from in a few minutes and throughout the month of October. We have forgotten the actual abuse that was taken to get us here, to where we can have a conversation. and I feel that deeply, and that hurts. So I want to make sure we get a fine, good tuned message and a loving message to my people, my black brothers, my men. I got on this thing a while back of really uniting black men. God put me on it, and it was heartbreaking to me because so many of us are disappointed, and we stay there, and we tend not to unite with any other brothers that are actually doing some wonderful and great things, and we tend to look at them and say, "Oh, that brother's foolish. He shouldn't be trusting them white people or Mexican boys and et cetera, et cetera. He shouldn't be trusting none of them, and he shouldn't be building no relationship or having no rapport with none of them." But here's the sad thing about it: there's a lot of white people, there's a lot of Mexican and a lot of different ethnic groups that out there that are not against us either. There's a lot out there that really wants to help, but we won't let them. And when God put me on this train of uniting black men, I'm catering to the guys who have heartbreaking. I like him as Ed. We were talking a while back, and we said the good guy. The good guy always loses, and I understand that. I understand it. I get it, because a lot of times the good guy does lose, and I feel like a lot of my brothers are the good guy, and we tend to lose. Our hearts are very, very forgiving, and then we get fed up so much to where we don't want to fight anymore. It's that thing when my old man, every older guy had told me this when I got married. They said, the best word you can say, son, is okay, baby. So, and I was like, wait a minute. That's not gonna work. I'm not controversial like that, but I'm like, wait a minute. Why is that just the best answer? And after a while, you have kids, you go through a little life, you come to find out that really is the best answer.
Rehearse the line. Oh, so, okay, baby.
Okay, but I believe too many of us have gotten that with society, and the cops, the Congress, the government, the governor. I think we've gotten too far of saying, you know what, I'm tired, I'm drained, I'm gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna take care of mine. But here's the sad thing about it: you can do what you do and take care of yours, but there's so many laws that will not permit you to do that if you don't vote. There's so many things that has contributed to that, of all the deaths, all the beatings, all the stuff that's going on, the stuff that's going on now with police brutality, in my opinion, is catered to not voting the right people in. There was a time, like Miss Addie's going to teach you throughout the month. One of the first topics I want to touch on is living and not just existing. We're in a time that I think we get to a point where we just exist. When you don't vote, you're just existing. That means you're not accounted for, and you're not held accountable either. You're just here, and you're not pushing anybody else up to go forward. Here's the thing with those cats that used to go before us and made it to Congress, made it to House representative positions in the 19th century, am I right? 1800s, 19th century?
1800s, yes.
That's when them brothers was marching up. The march that they did was to Congress, government position, federal position, and positions where they could make and change laws. If they had to just be in existing mode, we probably would have stayed in slavery a little bit longer. It'd have been even worse, in my opinion. And anyone can correct me if I'm wrong. That doesn't bother me. It's the message that I want to get out. If we need to live, and I believe we gotten to a point where we just existing, because we don't even want to take the time to listen. Even though we got a lot of great brothers, man, I'm telling you, all the ones that are doing such a powerful thing out there and doing a powerful work, out there in the communities. You're feeding the homeless and the needy. You're taking mentoring kids and being a big brother, even with the young adults. I mean, you're doing your thing. You're trying to educate them. The lawyer that was out there, and Corey Scarborough and Anton Whitby, dynamic. I mean, dynamic. They put so much structure material out there to educate the black men on if you lost your privileges or if you think you lost your privileges. That was Anton. Corey was on the side of saying if you get stopped, you know how to make it home. So it's there. It's there. We just have to plug in the different pieces in different areas so we can connect to a stronger level and be a good, strong front. Black men unite. We have to. We have to. Brianna is crying out for us. Sandra Bland is crying out for all of us to live so they can live. But if we just continue to exist, then so will they. And that's how they're going to be looked at, as just an object. And we're so much better with so much. I put it like this right here. It's amazing how I've seen Tokyo, Japan, even cats from Afghanistan, especially you know the whites and Latinos have picked up the hip hop language. And I mean with the saggy pants, the swag, the language that the verbal language that comes out of their mouth, the just the hip hop nature of black people. They have fallen in love. And I mean they are living it. So here's my thing. If they are loving our culture so much, that means we are leaders more than what we know. I need you to catch that bad boy and I need you to run with it. We lead a lot more than what we think. Why? Because a lot of people want to be just like us until it's time to be us. But we have to be us all the time, but we can be us all the time. And I mean every day if we start living and pushing our men up to those important positions like Martin Lee, who was in a councilman position down in Smithfield. He's doing great works. We got to push more. I heard him loud and clearly. We got to train more and push them in that direction so they can be there. We can make it where Miss Addie is about to tell you in a minute. We can make it there. And I believe by living, we can do that. But by existing, we fall short. We fall short. I'm with you, Miss Addie.
You speak profound truths. Knowledge opens doors, and those are so much more than words. Knowledge. It's interesting. I graduated from high school a number of years ago. But I was on Facebook with one of my high school graduates, white girl up in Michigan. And she reminded me of our senior class slogan. The door to success is labeled push.
I'm gonna write that down. I like that.
Knowledge is that door. If you can't read the word push, then you're going to exist. The saddest thing that anybody ever said is, I wish I could do that over again, knowing what I know now.
Great.
What you and others have been doing is letting people know that this is your time. Never in their lifetime has the climate for change, positive change, been so strong. It costs Brianna her life.
Mhm.
It cost Floyd his life. And it costs hundreds of people that you do not know their life. The people who were killed because they registered to vote. The families whose homes were burned down and they were driven out of town because the husband refused to tear up his ballot.
Wow.
The people who were beat and crippled for life because they were registering people to vote.
Mm.
So this is more than just, oh, why don't you just come and do this and that?
Right.
You are representing, you are being a role model for the next generation. You have an opportunity with your vote to be the heroes in your elder years
Yes.
when your children and grandchildren say, you know what, because of what you did in 2020,
Mm.
my life is so much better now, living instead of existing. Go ahead.
I love you, Miss A. So leading going in behind my second point, guys, is ownership and responsibility. Taking ownership and responsibility over your own situations in your own life. This is a need to vote. This is why you should, because everyone that came before you did something great to get you to where you are now, or to be able to do what you're getting ready to do in just a few days. I think October 15th is early voting for North Carolina. So ownership and responsibility. What do I mean by that? And how does that, you say, Coach, how does in the world does that affect me, or how does that have anything to do with why black men needs to vote? Ownership. If you have a family, um, if you are married with children or not married with children, and if you have any goals in life, or I put it like this: when you walk out to your car in the morning, you expect it to start without any any problems. That's your expectation. So I'm gonna teach you a faith lesson on that later, but that's also faith. uh for those of you that think you don't have it or don't know what it is, but that's a faith walk as well. But ownership of it, taking ownership of that car to keep it running properly so you can get to work and to and fro wherever you need to go. Your responsibility is to pay the tax and title on it every year, keep the oil change of what you own. Now you tend to do that to get you where you need to go, and places that wherever you got to get to where you want to go. But we're not willing to vote so we can get our kids or our wives or our sisters covering, protection, living in better areas to where they don't have to worry about warrants being served, putting our kids in better schools where we have done a census report to where they actually have books, to where they actually have computers. And then I have to take it another step further. Taking ownership means that you pour back into the community. We have poor communities, indeed, but we have people there that has not filled out the census report, who did not take ownership of their own to go fill it out. And then we keep dumping poorness attitudes inside those poor communities. We don't go around and help them build their decks for the older, the elderly, fix their porches, fix their lights in their home, change the lights, something simple. We'd rather walk around, get in the back. And I'm gonna tell you something, I'm gonna be real honest. Some of the wisdom that comes out of an individual's mouth when they've been drinking behind the closed doors is actually pretty daggone good. My request is that you take that same education and go to the polls with it. I mean, it's wise. I've sat there and listened to it. I'll go rock with some old cats and sit there and just listen to them politic and be amazed at the things that come out their mouth, and I'm like, man, that's a pretty good idea. But the idea never makes it anywhere because they don't believe in going to the polls anymore. So we got to take that ownership and responsibility and pass the love on to each other and say, yo, take that knowledge and take it to the poll. Take that knowledge and push our brothers up to commissioner's level. That's a lot of wisdom sitting in the cut that could really build up this poor neighborhood. We got 13 churches in one neighborhood in a 2-mile radius. And I'm not gonna beat up on them, but you have to recognize, and the Bible says, agree with your adversary. The adversary is, what are you doing with the ownership of those 13 churches? Tithes are coming in, offerings are coming in, responsibilities are going into it because you make the congregation, you hold them accountable for paying tithes and offerings, but we're not doing anything in the community. A young blood told me once, he said, which wasn't shocking, but it was kind of surprising that he even acknowledged it or realized. He said, you know why we don't go to church? I said, no, please do tell me. He said, because the same cats we see in church is the same ones we see behind the walls. And he said, man, and I go to church and get counseling, and then by the time I leave, my business is out. Before I hit the front door, my business meets me at the front door. And I went in there and talked to the pastor. There's not a lot of confidence no more in our churches. We got to build that back up because we have a lot of confident people out here. We got a lot of black groups that are doing wonderful and big, I'm talking about beautiful things in this world. They have taken on their responsibility and they're taking ownership of what they're doing. We got to tag along. And the ones that don't tag along, we got to pull them up and say, look, you're going to come with me. We got to be the old grandmas and old grandpas. Old grandpas didn't pull nobody. They told you to go.
They just told you.
And that was it. You get knocked out. So now if we got to go down and we got to go pull them, that's great. Then that's just what we got to do. That's ownership and responsibility of ourselves. That's all it is. Like I said earlier, we have influenced the whole world besides ourselves. The whole world we have influence besides ourselves. We got to influence each other to do the right thing. Like Corey was saying, if you know that you did something wrong, you smoked some marijuana, it lasts in your car for actually a few weeks. But if you're doing it for 3 or 4 days, you don't smell it anymore. But for someone who don't smoke, a cop, they smell it just like that. And you might let it air out for 30 days. I mean, for 3 days. Tells man, the car smell good. Man, you just finished smoking. And you know what? Personally, I'm not against none of the recreational uses or whatever you do. I'm just saying take ownership and be responsible. Just be responsible for what you do. And push your brother. Push your brother to the platform. What you got, Miss Adams?
Oh, my. You know what? So many important points. Number one, you're saying, do you know how important you are?
Mm.
Do you know how valued you are? Do you know how impactful you are? If you did, you would use it. Next thing, in terms of ownership, things that we own, we work to achieve.
Indeed.
And therefore it has value. That's why when you rent, then if something goes astray, well, call the people to fix it.
Indeed.
When you own it, you are invested in it. Are you invested in your country? If you know that you own it, then you will vote.
Yes.
Finally, you know how they made slavery work? By taking responsibility from slaves.
Wow.
They said, you have to be dependent on us. I'm not going to allow you to learn how to read because you might read that you have some power. The food that you get, you come at the beginning of the week and you go get your little, distribution of food. The clothes you wear, once a year, we will replace those. Anything for your time and your attention, we will deprive you of any responsibility for making any decisions, including whether you get to keep your children or your husband or your wife in your life. Dependence, welfare recipients. Dependence, Black people looking for a check. Dependence, all of us who say, well, I can always fall back on unemployment. Dependence puts us in a state of slavery. I was a social worker, and I know the importance of systems helping you pull yourself up. But when you opt to not live, but be dependent, know that it's the same thing that kept slaves. So yes, you make some very good points about ownership and about the value that if the curtain is pulled back and we got a good look at our history of inventions, of innovations, of all the things that they don't want you to know that your people did, then oh my goodness, we did extraordinary things. But what's thrown in our face today? Look at how much the Asians make. Look at how much, this group has. Look at what they're able to do. Black people have done everything that any other ethnic group has done here in America. But if you don't know it, then you're going to fall for the okie doke of, well, we can't do nothing. We don't own nothing. We don't control nothing. We don't have any power. Keep believing that. Don't vote. That's all.
Life and death lies in the power of the tongue. For them that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. The more you say we don't own anything, the more you're not gonna own anything. The more you say I'm just gonna wait, and the more you gag on it, you're gonna wait. The more you say they just keep doing it and they're gonna do what they want to do, then you are giving power to the unknown powers to make that happen. You got to get to a point in your life, and I love how you said that word dependency. You got to get to a point where you depend on the higher power to lift you up and to bring you through. And it's nothing wrong with depending on each other. If we influence the world, God Almighty. And that one right there alone is deeper than any to me. It's just if you just influence, we influence the world. I mean, literally, we literally influence the world. Everybody knows Michael Jackson,
Yes.
worldwide.
Let me say this.
Mhm.
How is it in 1920, in the 20s, can a Black woman with no education
Oh, I know you're talking about.
manufacture hair products and have networks of people across America, in South America, in Africa? How a person who has to pay in the 20s $40,000 in taxes buys a Rolls Royce, has trained 75,000 people as agents, 1920s. And we still talking about we don't have nothing and we can't do nothing? You need to know.
Gotta know where you come from. Gotta know where you come from, and that leads right into Miss Annie. That pushes it right into. I mean, it's a smooth transition. Just you have to love yourself enough. You have to love yourself enough in order for the world to love you. You have to. That is the key for anything you ever want to do in life. Is you have to start with self. If you're not you with you lose from the beginning. Your foundation is weak because you don't know who you are. You don't know where you come from. You don't know your strength. You don't know your possibilities. Everything Miss Addie's talking about was all possibilities that we have already done. And I'm talking about from many, many years ago. Many years ago. I like to think if our ancestors, I think they would beat the brakes off of us if they knew some of the stuff that we were doing now and how much control we have lost of what they had gained. I think they would come up here and do what the old folks used to do, and what I did when I raised my children, beat the brakes off of them, and until they got it right. And it's nothing that we cannot do. It truly is not. Over 90% of the stuff that we use today was created by us. Just every dance move there is come from black folk. The way the world functions is because the way the slaves work. That's why we do have what we have now. Is because of the works that they did, the free labor that they gave. But they loved their self right on through it. And they loved their self enough to push the next man forward. In spite of, they just kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing until they made it and until they made it, until they made it again.
Mhm.
We can do the same thing, family. We got the gift. I promise you, we got the gift. It's deep down inside, I know. And it takes someone every now and then to bring it out. That's understandable. Everybody needs encouragement. I get that. I need it time and time too. After a battle, you need to be replenished. It takes a lot out of you. I get it. The Breonna Taylors, all the George Floyds, um, Trayvon Martin, the young ones, Tamir Rice, even younger. I know that's a beating. It's taking a lot. But if we don't vote, then all of them are in vain. We didn't even kiss them goodbye. And we're telling our women, as black men, we're telling our women, we think of you the same way that they do, as an object. And that's a pretty dagglam. That's a shame. That's a shame. We got to get out of that level right there. My father said something. We were having a conversation. I said this Saturday, but we was having a conversation on family reunions, and had just my mind, the way my mind works. When he was talking to me, he was saying, "Son, at my age now, when he was my age, they was telling him to, pretty much take the baton and go. And it's you guys' turn now. He's knocking 70. He said, son, it's you guys' time. You guys got to put these family reunions together and get the family together and teach them, the younger crowd, how to do it and where to go and how to perform this thing, and put it in perspective of which way we should go." So I took it completely way off than what my old man, he was telling me what I got out of it. Son, it's your time. It's your time. I need you to round your troops up, and I need you to go. So it was confirmation for me that I need to get my stuff even more in order, get my black brothers in order, and we're gonna march together. And I'm not marching up and down the street. I'm not feeling that. I'm not doing it. That's what worked in the '60s and the '70s. I'm not walking that much right now. But where I am going to walk is very strategically. I'm going to push my brothers to different offices, and we're going to walk them up that way. We're going to get this thing kicked off of Black Friday 52, where we support nothing but black-owned businesses for at least one day a week. That's marching. It's just marching in a different way. And it's not to knock off any of my white family or my Mexican family, nothing like that. It's just saying, yo, I love my group. I adore my people. And I truly love my people. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not racist at all. I'm going to do a show, Miss Anna. I'm going to go ahead and tell it because I feel it. I have to do one. It's not going to be anytime soon, but I am going to do one. Black Lives Matter versus KKK. I'll tell you that. We'll talk about that later. But
Yeah. White nationalists.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a conversation needs to be had.
That's a good conversation. We're going to have that one because I really want to. There's some stuff in there you guys need to learn. Seriously. You need to open up your eyes a little more, especially when it comes to groups and how they love and protect their own. I hope you catch that. God Almighty, I hope you catch that. But you got to love yourself. That is the key. Miss Addie, what you got?
I don't have anything else to add. You have just covered it all. You didn't think you'd ever hear me say that.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. I love it. But deep inside, family, if you don't dig deep, remember there's two mirrors that I talk about. Not much on this show, but my other things that I do. Your spiritual mirror and your physical mirror. And that's how you begin to love yourself. You got to pick up your word and you got to read that. Oh, I even go as far as saying whatever religion that brings you love. I'm not gonna say religion because every religion don't bring you love. So whatever spiritual thing that you're into that brings you love, not this foolishness that's got there in the world. Some stuff ain't gonna bring you no love at all. But whatever gives you the to want to love and unite with people of all ethnicities and groups that matter. That's the one you stick to, and then you read it back to yourself in your physical mirror. You'll start learning who you are. And please take Miss Addie course on Black history. My Black brothers, please do. It is so informative, and
On race relations,
on race relations.
history.
Mm,
It's race relations at udemy.com. Understanding race relations in America.
mm. Take it, take it. It works. It will brighten your brain to a whole nother level. You'll be wanting to go to Congress, and you should be wanting to go to Congress now. But you'll be wanting to go after you read that. Especially we did numbers. You know, I'm a numbers guy. Y'all gotta go back and catch the other shows. They've been on YouTube, so go to YouTube, One Blood MOU, One Blood MOU, and catch those YouTube shows when we talk about some numbers. When you see how much you value, and knowing how much you are valued, just individual, but how the world looks at you, that ought to change your mindset for success. Love yourself, family. Love yourself more. Just love yourself more. It doesn't take much to get up in the morning and say, you know what, I love you, man. Because I do. I love you. Straight up. Hands down. I love my people. All the crazy ones. I consider myself one of them too. So, so I love it all. We do what we do, man. But we are peculiar people and we're very smart, very wise. So much to offer. I need you to pick up the pieces and rock with it. Please do. Pick up the pieces and rock with it. You guys are wonderful. You're blessed, man. We're gonna see you next Tuesday. We are remember I try my best to announce this every Tuesday that One Blood will be taking off the election day for those who need rides. I'm partnering with I think 2 or 3 more organizations that will help us do that. And we're going to make sure that people get to the polls and vote. One body is doing one, I believe, on the 24th. They are doing a march to the voting poll with different churches. So keep them in mind as well. And I got my Master the Grill. So whoever think they can cook, I got that coming up. Master Grills on October 24th. If you're ready to show the brothers that you can get down, man, it's $100 ticket. If you got it, man, you can win $100 if you become the Master of the Grills. And what they do, we just raise money, we sell plates, and we do that to feed the homeless and the needy on Thanksgiving Day. And I actually cook that night, and we hand out plates on Thanksgiving Day. So be blessed, be safe, man. I love you with the love of God, man. Miss Addie, you got anything else you need?
I thank you for being a blessing because this show, if received, will change lives. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of it so much. You guys are wonderful. You're awesome. Keep doing what you do. All of you ones that are doing great and wonderful works, keep doing the great and wonderful works. Be the best that you can be at all that you can be at all times of your life. And then when the ones that you see lying there, grab them, pick them up, and say, brother, let's go. Rock with me. I got you. Y'all be blessed, be safe, man. You know One Blood loves you. Talk to you soon.